So 20 million Americans have thyroid disorders, and 60% of them are undiagnosed. Patient advocacy estimates put the average at 10 years from first symptoms to diagnosis. These tiny chemical nudges build up to big metabolic swings.
Like hand sanitizer came out or it got popular and everybody was doing hand sanitizer like all day, every day.
You make it sound like they were huffing it.
They're doing hand
They're all doing
sanitizer.
hand sanitizer. And the idea that I should just kill everything, every little bit of bacteria around me, that's not me. It's counterintuitive because I have to be able to move in the world, be in the world.
It is really sad what they do to the mice. If we just didn't want to mess with all these weird products, we might not need to torture mice.
And I think that's what we're asking our listeners. Like we started in the beginning, if you have this list of symptoms, if you're seeking answers to why you're not feeling 100% in A, B, or C area of your life, take a look at these things. Maybe this is a solution for you that you could try. Welcome to Herbalism Uncensored, the podcast where we dig deep into the world of herbalism and natural healing. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Lila. We're two clinical herbalists who recognize the need for honest and authentic conversations about the state of natural healing today. As practitioners, we feel called to have uncensored discussions about why people aren't finding relief and what to do about it.
If you're frustrated by lack of results, overwhelmed by conflicting advice online, disillusioned by the commercialization of wellness, or simply passionate about natural healing, you're in the right place.
This podcast is our way of cutting through the noise, busting myths, and challenging marketing gimmicks.
This is Herbalism Uncensored,
where together we're nurturing the future of natural healing.
The contents of this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to be a substitute in any way for professional medical advice, treatment, or diagnosis. It's important that you always seek the advice of your physician or other licensed healthcare provider with any questions or concerns you may have regarding a medical condition. All right, guys, welcome to Herbalism Uncensored, where today we're talking about endocrine disruptors. Could your clean products be making you sick? First, I want to begin by just saying thank you from the bottom of our hearts to all of our listeners. It's really exciting and gratifying every time we look at our podcast and see that, just more and more people are listening, and we really appreciate your support. But in the meantime, I'll tell you the inspiration for this episode was I got some help cleaning my house. So I have a maid. And really, she did me a huge favor by destroying my microwave. She put a towel that had been washed in her laundry detergent and her fabric softener. I don't know if you've ever done this with a microwave. You get the towel wet and you just put the towel in the microwave and you run it for like 5 or 10 minutes and it makes all this steam and then you can just wipe the microwave out. And that's how she cleaned my microwave. But she didn't use one of my towels that's washed in all natural unscented laundry detergent. She did it with one of her towels that had a lot of fabric softener on it, and now my microwave smells like fabric softener, and I'm shopping for an air fryer. So said we've got to do an episode on endocrine disruptors and fragrance because it seems like there's just more and more of it in the world. And for myself, I can tell that it really affects me.
Well, I'll just give you a better way to clean a microwave to start as your first practical tip of the episode. I like to take a bowl of water and put like a half a lemon or half a lime in it and microwave it for a couple minutes. And that, like the lemon's natural juices get released and then that steams the microwave and wipes down everything very nicely. So don't do the towel thing, people. I'm also highly affected by scents. And this isn't something I realized growing up. I grew up with the Glade plugins and the Febreze and all the crap that everybody else did, Bath and Body Works, scented candles, all the goodies. And it wasn't until I started going on my health journey and cleaning up my diet and the way I ate and the way I interacted with the world that I realized a very direct correlation between being in environments with these type of scents and not being exposed to these things. And now it's a very visceral connection I've made, and my tolerance for it is so low. Like so low because it does not make me feel good. And I'm so tuned into that I avoid those things vehemently now.
Yeah. Well, and I have always had a sensitivity to fragrance. And really, when you have a sensitivity to fragrance in this world, it is an affliction. And I reacted to bubble baths growing up and perfumes and colognes my entire life. If I find a perfume that I can wear, I get really excited. And I've learned to just wear it sparingly and not often, because otherwise, if I continue wearing it, I'll start to react to it. But I have really noticed it feels like, just especially over the last 5 to 10 years, I wasn't sure if I was getting more sensitive or if they were putting more chemicals in the products. And after doing the research for this episode, I'm starting to think that they are actually putting more chemicals into the products. In fact, there is evidence of such. Or there's just more of these products being used. But why do we care about this? Like, why does this matter? It's like, okay, Lila, Alicia, you guys have chemical sensitivities. But the thing is that these things can mess with our systems. They cause mitochondrial dysfunction and endocrine dysfunction. You can get people have fertility issues, and these are things that are really rampant in our society.
Yeah, I think the best way to make it relevant to you is to know that if you're dealing with anything chronic or you just don't feel good, whether it's chronic fatigue or you deal with chronic moods, anxiety and depression or painful periods or anything in this realm of not feeling good, you have to look at what's going on in your environment. You just have to. It's a factor. I like the phrase, if you wouldn't eat it, it shouldn't go in your body. And when we put things in our body or on our body, or we smell things, our body now has to deal with that. And it's something our body doesn't recognize. Our body doesn't recognize these chemicals in our cleaning products, in our perfumes, and our scented candles. So we're taking them into our system. Our system doesn't know what to do with them. That inflames our system, but then it overburdens our liver, which underlines so many things. So anything that you're doing in your environment, your body has to process and deal with. And when we get overburdened, that's when we start seeing symptoms, and these symptoms lead to chronic diseases. So if you're not feeling good, this is relevant.
Things with your sleep, your sex, your metabolism, if you are trying to lose weight and just can't seem to lose weight, or like you said, if you're tired, if you are having fertility issues or menstrual issues, energy issues. These are things to look at. And people have these problems for a long time before they notice them. I was looking up some statistics in preparation for this episode. So 20 million Americans have thyroid disorders, and 60% of them are undiagnosed. Patient advocacy estimates put the average at 10 years from first symptoms to diagnosis. So these tiny chemical nudges build up to big metabolic swings. Fertility issues. So I've got some different statistics. One was that 1 in 8 couples struggle. I have an old statistic that 1 in 4 couples in Europe have to seek the help of a fertility doctor to conceive. These toxins can affect sperm counts and affect ovulation. And then think about estrogen dominance. A lot of these things mimic estrogen in the system. Anything that mimics estrogen, your body takes it, it looks like estrogen. And your body goes, I know what to do with this. And it does the same thing with it that it would do with estrogen. Then autoimmune disorders. 8% of the population has a diagnosed autoimmune disorder. 80% of them are women. I know we could go down a whole rabbit hole about why women seem to be more affected by these things, or maybe men get the same symptoms and just ignore them. I'm not sure. But with autoimmune disorders, the average is from first symptoms to diagnosis, it's 4 to 6 years and 4.8 doctors consulted. So that's just the average. So that means that some people might be 10 years and 10 doctors consulted. Can you imagine being sick for 10 years, not knowing what the problem is and seeking answers and going from doctor to doctor? It's just my heart. That sounds frustrating. So If you are having questions about any of these things, if you're going to doctors or considering going to doctors to talk about these things, take a look at what you're cleaning your house with.
I'll say for myself, I have a lifelong history of anxiety and depression. And once I got that under control and it wasn't something I regularly dealt with anymore, I realized I had a panic attack it was probably like 6 to 8 months ago. And I went in someone's car who there was just so much perfume, like, some Bath and Body Works type perfume. And it just like headache and like put me in shutdown mode. It like I could feel like overwhelm my system. And it when our system's overwhelmed, right? Like our body has to deal with all these things. Our body gets panicky, those signals are sent to our mind, and we get things like anxiety. And for me, it was a full-blown panic attack. And it might not have been the only cause. A lot of times when we do have complex issues, autoimmune issues, there are multiple things going on. But the goal is to eliminate anything that is getting in the way of you feeling your health and your happiness. And these things absolutely do. And so for me, it's been something I've been really keyed into lately. And I can start making these correlations. If somebody in the grocery store walks by me and they just reek of these scents that I no longer engage with, it makes me feel a different way. And I think that just tuning in and start getting aware of what's going on in our environment, what we are putting in our environment, what is going in our body, and how we're feeling is such a huge piece of the puzzle, no matter what we're dealing with, if we want to feel good.
Absolutely. And being aware of it. And that's part of the problem with a lot of these fragrances is they cause olfactory fatigue. So if you're exposed to them on a regular basis, you can't smell them anymore. So you don't realize how much you are exposed to them.
But that's interesting. I didn't actually know that. So that's probably why I'm like hyper vigilant and aware of it. I can sniff out someone's perfume from hundreds of feet away. Or I was on a walk the other night and a jogger came through and she was wearing a ton of perfume. And then like I was on the same trail as she was, and I was just like walking in her scent. And I don't think I would have ever noticed that, 5, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
In fact,
absolutely.
I was dousing myself with Bath and Body Works perfume 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, people don't realize it. So the lovely woman who comes and cleans my house and does such an amazing job, and I'm so grateful for her because she's freed up so much time for me to do other things like make home cooked meals and research for podcasts and things like that. When she gets out of her car and I open my front door, I can smell her clothes from my front door. It's about 30 feet. And so I'm sure that she can't smell that. She has no idea. And so we're just constantly smelling these things. And we don't use any of these things in our house. There's not a Glade plug-in in my house. All of my cleaners are natural cleaners. We do use a little bit of bleach, although we'll get into that. I probably won't be using bleach anymore after today. And yeah, there's no scented candles. If there is a scented candle, it's a scented candle that I made with essential oils. I recently had a woman who gave me some free dog treats, some free homemade dog treats. She's doing a soft opening for her small company that makes homemade dog treats. We don't feed our dogs anything that we wouldn't eat ourselves. That's kind of a rule around here. And my husband tried one and he said it tastes like a Glade plug-in. And they didn't even smell like Glade plugins, but you can taste it. So when you have these kinds of things in your home, they're settling on your food. You're ingesting them and inhaling them, even though you may not be aware of it.
It's like you're just giving your body one more thing to deal with. And our bodies in our modern living have a lot of things to deal with already. Because anything that comes into your environment, be it through your nose or your mouth or your skin, your body must manage. And it all comes just back to we're getting increasingly more and more overburdened. And that is definitely a contributor to the rise in disease rates and people just not feeling well these days.
Absolutely. And we were just talking about this right before we started recording. One of the causes of disease in Ayurveda is misuse of the senses, right? So when we say misuse of the senses, think about your five senses and too much, too little, or the wrong kind. There's a lot of ways that we misuse our senses today. Like I've got my blue light blocking glasses on because I've spent 28 hours on Zoom in the last 3 days. That's misuse of my eyes and probably my ears as well. Smelling something can be too much. That's misuse of the senses. And then there's another aspect of it when I'm smelling something and I'm not neurologically, I am not interpreting it. That's a whole nother layer of me not using my senses properly because things aren't connecting. Just like if you really pay attention to what's going on around you, or I'll use I statements. If I'm really paying attention to how I perceive the world, I was on a Zoom call yesterday and there was a big lag as one of the people I was on the Zoom call with said something. And it really threw me off because I'm looking at a video and the video is moving at one rate, but the sound is moving at a different rate. That's something that my body has to adjust to. I'm just giving myself one more thing to have to adjust to.
Yeah, one more thing to process, one more thing to interpret, right? And this goes for our thoughts to the food we eat, to the things we smell. Again, now I'm a broken record. Anything that our body encounters, including our senses, we have to process. That's why, we come off of, 9-hour class day on Zoom, or we just binge watch 12 hours of Netflix. We're overstimulated and our body now has to overprocess that. And then we don't feel good. So it's just really getting in tune with what we're doing and how we're feeling at the end of the day. That's the name of the game.
Well, and some things we don't have a whole lot of control over, right? Like I don't have control over, if somebody drives to my neighborhood and sprays pesticides. They don't ask me for permission to do that. It's a thing that happens. I actually haven't seen that in a while. I'm really grateful. I think that what I'm trying to get at and maybe not articulating well is that, and you said it, we digest with more than our mouths. We digest with our eyes. I digest with my ears. I digest with my nose. Everything that I see, everything that I sense, everything that I touch, my body's taking it in. My body's processing it. I'm turning it into something. And there are toxins out there in the world, but I get to choose how much negativity or toxicity I expose myself to. And so what I'm hoping to do in this episode is to give some people some awareness around some things that might be seemingly benign, that are just regular household products that are actually fairly toxic. And then also give some examples and some options of things that you could swap out.
Well, I think it's really important, just kind of on that topic, is our body is meant to do two things. It's meant to build new tissues and new cells and new blood and things like that. And it's meant to detox. It's meant to get rid of all the waste products that we don't need. So this is a natural course of life. I think there's always been things in our environment that we don't necessarily need, and our body is meant and designed to process and get rid of. And there's things that our body creates that we don't need, that it processes and gets rid of. I think what's really happening at this point in time is the amount of things that our body needs to process and get rid of is too much for our bodies to handle. Mm-hmm. Our buckets are full, we're overburdened, and that is leading to this malaise that everybody's dealing with. I mean, I remember I spent most of my life not feeling good. And I remember when I finally started to feel good, I did the moment of I looked around and the people around me didn't feel good. And it is just, I think, a side effect of modern living. And we really have to scrutinize, what are we doing and why are we doing it? Why are we all shopping at Bath and Body Works? Why are we lighting these candles? Why are we spraying Febreze in our homes instead of cleaning our home so it naturally smells good? Like, I just think it's such a time in the world and in history right now where we just have to get so aware and question everything.
Yeah. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? And how is it affecting us? How does it affect me?
Well, I'll give one more example. Is I remember, and it must have happened when I was like a young kid, like hand sanitizer came out or it got popular and everybody was doing hand sanitizer, like all day, every day.
You make it sound like they were huffing it.
They're doing hand
They're all
sanitizer.
doing hand sanitizer.
Well, do you remember, like, you could go, like, I spent a lot of time at Bath and Body Works apparently, but you go to like Bath and Body Works or those stores and you get the little hand sanitizers, and then you got like the little plastic thing to clip it to your backpack. Mm-hmm. And we started over sterilizing everything, including our bodies and our homes, and we're using all these disinfectants, and it's just like what everybody's doing, and so nobody stops and questions it. But these things have consequences. Our our over-sanitization of our hands is creating superbugs, and it's wiping out our natural microbiome, and it's making our hands more porous, so they are absorbing things more easily in our environment that they wouldn't normally absorb, and nobody's questioning it. And I was, I just, it's those type of things that just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean we don't need to stop and go, why are we all doing that?
Well, and we have this idea, like we got stuck in a rut, I don't know when, of thinking that we all have to be squeaky clean, that things have to be squeaky clean. I went to a class years ago at the California School of Herbal Studies on formulating natural skincare. And that was one of the things that the woman said that really stuck with me was it was, what was it, in the 1920s? They used sodium lauryl sulfate. You know what it was used for originally?
No idea.
It was used to clean the grease off of the tanks in World War I. And it was really good at getting the grease off of the tanks, like axle grease, oil mixed with dirt and gunpowder. So it did such a great job at doing that. We decided to put it in our soap and our shampoo. And I really think there's room for, we want to talk about cleaners and air fresheners and things like that today. There's room to talk about body products because that's a whole thing there as well. But where do we get this idea that this really degreases the tank so well we can use it to degrease ourselves, and that we are supposed to be squeaky clean all the time? And no, like there's a whole system here, just like in my garden. I have a whole ecosystem out there. There are bugs that eat other bugs. There are bacteria in the soil. There are bugs that eat that bacteria and thrive on it and catch the bugs that I don't want. There's a whole ecosystem. And it's good for me to go and get my hands in that dirt and get dirty and let that bacteria get on me because I am part of that ecosystem. And the idea that I should just kill everything, every little bit of bacteria around me, that's not me. It's counterintuitive. To me, it seems counterintuitive because I have to be able to move in the world, be in the world. And I don't want to be squeaky clean. I am, and I'm going to get wrinkles, and my hair is going to turn gray, and my home smells like a home that people live in.
You bring up such a good point. I'm going to try really hard not to scroll off down some rabbit holes about how we got to the point of over-sterilization and how we find it better to manipulate our environment instead of strengthen ourselves and make our interactions with the environment more pleasant. But you touched on some great points. So I'll just reiterate that our skin is a microbiome. And it has good bugs and bad bugs, and everyone is coexisting until there's a problem, and then you find out what the balance is and you fix it. But when we over-sterilize, which includes washing our body every day with soap, we are stripping our body of its natural oils, and we are changing the microbiome, and we are weakening our ability to go out through the world and let our body do what it does. So it's like this, it's almost like an external intervention. And now we use really heavy soaps, and people shower a lot. Not that you shouldn't shower, but it's one of those things that you have to like think about, like, how did we get here? Is this right? Alicia, I don't know about you, but I don't think I've seen a client that hasn't had dry skin.
Well, they're stripping.
Everybody has
they're
dry
stripping
skin.
their natural oils. So let me ask you a question.
Don't ask me how often I shower on camera.
How often do you use soap?
I don't use soap every time I shower. I probably use it maybe every other day, every couple days, just depending on what I have going on. Or like I will just use it in specific places, like maybe on my armpits. Like I don't soap my face, and just, I'm out camping right now. I'm like covered in mud by the end of the night. So like I've been scrubbing off.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like soap is not a regular part of my shower routine.
And do you wear deodorant?
On occasion, and I use, some hippie natural stuff. I don't wear it every day.
Okay. And do you use fabric softener, scented laundry detergent?
I do not use scented laundry detergent. I do not use fabric softener. I do not use laundry sheets. Laundry sheets, like if I get near a laundry chute, my nose will itch for like 3 weeks. It's just like so itchy.
Well, if I get near laundry sheets or people, like if I stand too close to someone in the grocery store or do yoga next to someone who uses dryer sheets, like I have left yoga classes because there's nowhere else to be in the studio, and the person next to me, their laundry sheets are making me sick because I'll go home and I'll go to bed for 2 days. I get incredible fatigue and even nerve pain if the exposure is prolonged. Like if I can't leave, like I had a situation once where I was taking someone to the hospital and I was at the hospital with them for 8 hours and exposed to various scents that were coming off of other people throughout the hospital visit. I went home and went to bed, and I woke up with pins and needles in my legs. So I have to stay away from those things. But the reason I ask you those questions is because I want to make a point. I might use soap once or twice a week, and only on like the critical areas. I shower daily and massage my body with oil. I do not use scented laundry detergent or dryer sheets. I do not wear deodorant. I have like hippie deodorant that I wear. My husband has a catering company and I wait tables for him a couple of days a week. So right now, while it's 103 degrees outside, I'll put my hippie deodorant on, but it's really like when it's over 95 degrees because I might get really close to somebody's face. No one ever avoids me because I'm a stinky person. In fact, oftentimes I go places and people tell me how good I smell.
I get that. Yeah, I get that too. And I don't wear anything. Every once in a while, like dap on like an essential oil or something, but like I don't use a lot of products. And someone the other day was like, "You smell so good," and I was like,
I think I smell like food. I think I smell like food because we cook so much. My house smells like food.
"You just smell like food."
I do. I think I smell like seasoning.
That's great. So everybody, ditch your scented things and start just like using some steak rub.
Yeah, start making lots of Indian food. Pretty sure I smell like ginger and cumin and garlic.
Probably smell like hing.
Hing. I don't think I smell like hing.
Oh, hing is very fragrant for anyone wondering.
Fragrance, one word. Okay, so let's talk about our hot spots, these problem children. So we mentioned cleaners, laundry, air fresheners, candles, disinfecting wipes. So cleaners can have phthalates, triclosan, and then bleach and ammonia. So the thing is, these phthalates mimic estrogen. Triclosan and MPEs block thyroid receptors. And then the bleach and ammonia are not endocrine disruptors, but they open the lung barrier. So they make it easier for these endocrine disruptors to get into the body and stay. Do you want to elaborate on any of that?
Well, I was just going to make a distinction between phytoestrogen and exogenous estrogens, or like xenoestrogens.
Please.
Okay. I'll just touch on the estrogen situation really quickly because I think there's a lot of confusion around estrogen, and we hear estrogen and we think it's a bad thing. So it's a sex hormone our body needs. We all need estrogen, men included. And there's a couple different things happening. First of all, there's different types of estrogen, and our body needs stronger forms of estrogen and weaker forms of estrogen for different things. But then there's different ways that estrogens come externally into our bodies, as well as our body creates estrogen. So what Alicia is mentioning in these cleaning products, I think they're called xenoestrogens. And these are exogenous estrogens that are coming in the body and our body doesn't necessarily recognize or know what to do with, or they can dominate. And I just want to make the distinction that we also have phytoestrogens in our food and some herbs. And those estrogens are handled a little different in the body. So this isn't to say like throw out your tofu. I love tofu. Or, don't use, I was going to say wild yam, but that doesn't actually have
Don't eat chickpeas.
any phytoestrogens in it. Yeah, there we go. Chickpeas. Most plants have phytoestrogens in them. So this isn't to say like anything with estrogen is bad. It's this exogenous type of estrogen that is causing problems. And without getting too far into the whole hormonal cascade, just know like there's a lot going on here. And these exogenous estrogens are worth staying away from. So like the BPA and the BPS and receipt paper, I'll throw out because that's something you don't want in your body. Because again, then your body has to deal with it. And what part of your body deals with it, Alicia? Your liver.
Your liver.
Your liver.
Like, well, I mean, I feel like don't give me a pop quiz.
I'm sorry.
No. Yes.
I'm like, Your liver does everything. So
Your liver does everything. And I was thinking was about what I was going to say next. That you're not supposed to do that, right? I'm supposed to just listen to you, active listening. Um,
Mhm.
because I was looking for the word. The hormone cascade is intricate. Is that the word? It's an intricate, detailed process that's sensitive and can be easily thrown out of balance. And everything affects everything. If you have something off with your hormones, like I think that it's always baffled me that some practitioners will treat or that people in general will look at their ovaries as something different from their thyroid or your adrenal glands as something different from your thyroid or your ovaries because all of these things are so intimately connected. And if there's something out of balance anywhere in the sequence of events, there's a domino effect. And it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It can become bigger and bigger, and it's like, and that snowball is rolling down a hill that's like and zigging and zagging. We don't know where it's going. So it's when people have issues with their endocrine system, it's such a puzzle to find out what's really going on and where things begin. So anything that I can do to avoid throwing off hormones, I'm down to do it. And I say that with a caveat that like I'm not thinking about my estrogen when I'm eating my chickpeas. I think
Yeah.
food is medicine and food is food, and the more variety of natural, healthy, fresh food we get into our bodies, the better.
Well, I think it's the difference between we're eating this food in its whole form and our body's getting all the plant compounds that come with that food, not just the phytoestrogens. So our body knows what to do with it. It recognizes it. Everything's in balance. But when we are taking in too many of these xenoestrogens or these man-made compounds that are imitating estrogen in our body, it's disruptive to the hormone process. And you were so right to touch on that hormones are very complex and very finicky. Like there's so many points of failure, there's so many places it can get disrupted. It's a delicate balance. And if you are exposed to too much of something, you're gonna throw it off. I was gonna read quickly just a list of the side effects of xenoestrogen exposure because I think it's really interesting. So we have hormonal imbalances like estrogen dominance, irregular periods and heavy bleeding, PMS, breast tenderness, fibroids, endometriosis, low progesterone symptoms like anxiety, poor sleep, irritability, fertility challenges like you mentioned earlier, miscarriage risk, early puberty in girls. That's a huge issue right now. Girls are starting periods
So
or
young.
puberty so young. And we're starting menopause younger and younger every year,
Mm-hmm.
or perimenopause, I should say, to be correct. Decreased sperm count and quality in men, feminization in males, brain fog, poor memory, sleep disturbances, weight gains, insulin resistance, blood sugar dysregulation, increased appetite or food cravings, fatigue, cancer risk, be it breast, ovarian, prostate, testicular, thyroid disruption, sluggish detox pathways, high burden on glutathione and methylation processes, and autoimmune conditions.
Okay, and those are in our phthalates, right? So
Right.
here we go. So we're talking about your fragrance. This is going to be labeled on the label of your cleaner, of your laundry detergent, of your air freshener, or your candle as fragrance. So when there's fragrance, this is what it can possibly do. I don't want any of those things. And we do, as we see it, right? We see it in our clinic. How many people come in with menstrual irregularities, early perimenopause, metabolic disorders, cravings, inability to lose weight, fatigue? See it every day. Every day that I'm in a clinic, I see it. It's epidemic.
I don't think I've worked with one female that hasn't had hormonal imbalances at this point.
I don't think I've worked with a woman. Every woman that I've worked with is either postmenopausal or no matter what age they are, has menstrual irregularities. And not just,
Yeah.
a 27-day cycle, but
Life disrupting.
yeah, disruptive menstrual irregularities, painful, dysfunctional. So the laundry. Laundry has the phthalate fragrance, optical brighteners, And quats. I want to talk about quats because those residues stay in your clothes. You put them on your skin. We wear clothes on our skin 24/7. We inhale the aroma that's coming off of our clothes. We don't recognize that we're smelling it, right? Because of the olfactory fatigue. These are tied to fertility drops. They're also in disinfectant wipes, fabric softeners, and odor eliminating spray. So if you see something that says odor eliminating or 24-hour antibacterial protection, then you can pretty much know that it has a quat in it. It's a quaternary ammonium compound. So it's a potent respiratory sensitizer. And one of them, it was the the DDAC, and I can't remember what that stands for. I'm not going to look it up because I probably would say it incorrectly anyway. But not only do these things cause respiratory sensitization, which allow all of the other things to get in and stay in, the DDAC can cause mitochondrial dysfunction. So I got really excited I really went down the rabbit hole as I was looking at things for this episode because I'm convinced that this is why I go home and go to bed. It's the mitochondrial dysfunction. And I had run across a study that talked about these things. Now, these poor mice, we do all these horrible things to mice, but they had brain cell death when exposed to the parts per million in their blood was similar by weight to the parts per million that we normally have in our blood due to average exposure. Brain cell death, myelin dysfunction.
It is really sad what they do to the mice.
It is really sad, the poor mice, but the mice are helping us. I just say a little prayer for the mice.
If we just didn't want to mess with all these weird products, we might not need to torture mice.
Yeah, so last thing I'll say is air fresheners and candles, limonene and linalool. They sound good, but then there's also parabens. These things go straight into the bloodstream. They jack up cortisol rhythms and they can affect your sleep. Also want to say you've got to be careful with plant-based and natural labels. They often hide undisclosed fragrance blend. So a good rule of thumb is look at the ingredients, and if it says fragrance, just put it back.
So, I mean, that's a lot to keep track of for the average person. I mean, that's a lot to keep track of for myself. And that's all beautiful information, but there are some shortcuts that you can take. And one of the things I use is like something like the Yucca app. That's YUKA, where I can go look at a product. For most, you can scan your product. Works especially well with beauty products. Some cleaning products are probably on there, but it'll give it a score and it'll tell you, yes, go for it. No, don't, or give you some things to think about and consider it for yourself. Go start scanning your sunblocks and report back.
Yeah.
Good luck. Enjoy.
Well, and then there's the EWG app. They have a website, they have a list. That's a nonprofit organization that is doing everything they can to keep our ingredients clean and healthy. So you can go to their website or their app. It's EWG Healthy Living. You can scan barcodes when you're at the store, and they actually do have a lot of cleaners on there. There's another one. It's called Made Safe. They also have a list of ingredients to avoid. So I think it's pretty simple to just say like avoid fragrance. And then if you really want to get serious about this, sounds like there's EWG, there's Made Safe, there's Yucca. There are a lot of resources out there that are available to you. So
yeah. And I mean, you and I have both successfully eliminated most, if not all, of these things from our lives. And I think we've gotten along just fine. It might take a little bit more effort than other people might have to go through, but I think it's totally doable and totally worth it. It's one of those things that you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You don't have to go, throw out everything and burn down the house today. You can gradually phase out. When you run out of something, buy something better, bring it in, crowd it out. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. I just want to reiterate that getting aware, and as you start to kind of slowly make these changes, you will notice a difference and it'll make it worth it to stick with it and to continue on that path. I guarantee it.
Oh, absolutely. I want to be really clear. I am not suggesting that anybody just because we can get anxious about this. People can get anxious and OCD about ingredients and food and in the cleaners and the products, and all of the things. So I don't think that anything we do is about perfectionism. I don't think that anything we do is about being all or nothing. I think that it's just about being aware of what am I doing? Why am I doing it? How is it making me feel? And what can I do better? So if I can do one thing this week a little bit better, and if I can remove one ingredient and then maybe another ingredient, and if I notice that I'm feeling better, then yeah, like keep on doing that. But, we're not here, we're not the fragrance police or the ingredient police over here saying that you have to do these things or you're just not living healthy, because that's not true at all. Like, just full disclosure, as I was looking into all this stuff, because I use Clorox cleanup in my bathroom. Man, like nothing, just nothing cleans like Clorox cleanup. Speaking of, I guess I'm going to jump around a little bit because we were talking about getting into some swaps, right? So, bathroom cleaner, I feel like I need some bleach for the deep clean. Like, nothing whitens up a toilet or a bathtub like bleach. But then there are bleach alternatives. And one of the things that has been suggested is 5% white vinegar spray, followed not at the same time, not mixed, but in sequential order. You do the white vinegar spray, rinse it off, and then do a 3% hydrogen peroxide mist for a broad microbe kill. And then I also found that there is a powdered bleach, which is a great bleach alternative. It's sodium percarbonate, and Molly's Suds makes it. You could find it on Amazon. Just look for powdered bleach. You can find different brands that are rated differently on the EWG app. And because it's a powder, it's not aerosolized, then you're not inhaling so many of those fumes, and it's a whole lot safer. So I'm probably going to switch to that. So it's not true that I have not eliminated all of these things from my life. I have eliminated many of these things from my life, specifically the things that give me noticeable side effects, because those are the things I'm really motivated to get rid of, right? And I think that's what we're asking our listeners. Like we started in the beginning, if you have this list of symptoms, if you're seeking answers to why you're not feeling 100% in A, B, or C area of your life, take a look at these things. Maybe this is a solution for you that you could try.
That was beautifully put. Very beautifully
Oh,
put.
I thank you. I try.
I keep like getting flashbacks to like say like my old life or like the old me, and like you'd like
Before
I would
you were
go
reborn as a
yeah,
clinical herbalist.
yeah, exactly, whatever, before I went on my journey, before things diverged in whatever way. But I was thinking like I used to go get black ice air fresheners, like the tree air fresheners. I keep those in my car
Judge it.
in college.
No, not really.
So you should judge it. It was rough.
Girl, that what was it? That was they made the documentary about the guy that ate McDonald's every day for 30 days and like gained all this weight. Well, I tried that. I didn't gain weight. Like when I met my husband, I lived on Yoplait and Totino's pizzas. Yeah. I haven't always had the fragrances around because I've always reacted to them. But, it's like I think I get older, get wiser, grow in awareness, notice what makes me feel good, what makes me feel not so good, and make changes accordingly. Black
Yes,
ice,
I love that.
fabric stuff.
I know.
That's one of those things. Like, so let's talk about air scent, okay? Because I can't even take an Uber. I have gotten out of Ubers, a third of the way through my trip. I'm like, pull over, let me out of the car, because they all have air fresheners. I miss the days of taxis where I could just like call my taxi driver and his car smelled like cigarette smoke, and he took me where I wanted to go, and I didn't die in his cab. And I can't do that anymore. That's a whole nother.
Bring back the smoking cabs.
I just want a driving service where I can get a card from a driver and request that driver, because not every Uber driver has scent, just like 90% of them. If I could find one of the 10% and get their card, and when I need an Uber, call them, I'd be happy. But it doesn't work like that.
Nope.
Yeah, so air scent. If you want to deodorize the smell in the air of your home, then you could get a HEPA charcoal filter. Or I really like the idea of simmering a pot of citrus peels and cloves. Like, you could save your orange peels and occasionally just boil them.
I do that. It's the best.
Do you do that?
I do that specifically around Christmas. And I'll make a simmer pot with like cinnamon and clove and orange peel and whatever else I'm feeling, and it's just so nice. It smells so warm and like homey.
So we do that in around Christmas time. You ever take an orange and you get a bunch of cloves and you stick them in the orange,
No.
and then you thread a string through the orange, and I mean it's a waste of food, really. But and you hang them around the house. We used to hang them on the tree, and it fills the house up with that smell.
Mm,
You know,
that smells lovely.
I have a giant sage bush. I make my own smudge sticks, and I will smudge my house, and my house will smell like burnt sage. I burn copal and frankincense if I want to add some
Yep.
scent. But normally, I really think I just cook food. I have dogs. I have 250 pounds of dog in my house. I often hear, wow, it smells so good in your house. And I think my house doesn't smell like dog because my dogs eat really clean. And my house smells like food because we cook a lot. And we make homemade bath salts. So I have a big container of bath salts that I make with essential oils. And it just sits with not an airtight container and smells up like that entire half of the house.
Most importantly, I think your new best friend should be vinegar. I think vinegar is like the unsung hero of cleaning.
Is that what you clean with?
I use a lot of vinegar, but my favorite cleaning product is Young Living makes a concentrated thieves cleaner. And so you like, you make a cap, you take a capful and you put it in your bottle and you put water in it. And then like that's my all-purpose cleaner because it smells like clove and cinnamon. I don't know what else is in it, but it's just very clove and cinnamon forward, and I love it. It smells good. Reminds me of my dad. So that's what I clean my house with.
See, I think clove has a really clean smell. And I have recently, there's a brand called Naterra, Naeterra, and they make, it sounds really similar to the Thieves. And I'm not familiar, but I know that's their cleaner, right? Thieves. But it's a aromatherapy cleaning concentrate, and I just put a capful in a glass bottle. I can put more if I want something that's more concentrated. I've fried chicken last night, like pan fried chicken, and there was, grease everywhere. I cleaned my stovetop with it. And it has surfactants in it that are like coconut derived and totally safe and not hormone disrupting. And the other thing is, that 1-to-1 vinegar to water. Always clean vinegar to water. What's the other one? Well, actually, I won't mention it because I didn't look up the ingredients for it. What about laundry detergent?
A bare minimum, I would just get something unscented to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ditch your fabric softener. I use things like vinegar and baking soda in my laundry. Sometimes I'll use soap nuts instead of laundry detergent. But I think just go for something unscented and you're going to be pretty decent off.
Tell me about the soap nuts because I've never used them and I'm curious.
There was a bit of a learning curve. I think they work really well. So I'll get you can do it two ways. You can get muslin bags and put, 10 soap nuts in them. They come dried. You pop them in. If you're washing with cold water, you have to use more than if you're washing with hot water.
Okay.
And you can reuse them a couple times. They do set up a little bit. Or you can make like a liquid. So you boil or soak soap nuts and then blend them and then strain them, and then you have a soap nut liquid. And I keep it in the fridge because it lasts longer.
Okay.
And then I can also add like essential oils to it if I want, and it's good. My clothes come out smelling neutral. They don't smell like Tide, or I can't think of another fabric cleaner other than Tide right
That
now.
Arm & Hammer stuff.
Yeah. It's baking soap.
What's another one? Glad?
Glade? The Glad?
Is it Glad?
Glad.
I don't know. I don't
with
walk
flowers
down
on
the
it.
laundry detergent aisle. So I don't know what they have there.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about soap nuts is they are dirt cheap. Like a pound of soap nuts will last you years. Like that is all the laundry soap you're gonna need for a very, very long time.
I saw some on Amazon. It was like a big bag for like $16.
Yeah, they're cheap.
And
so it's a cool option.
I'm gonna definitely try it. I'm gonna have to try some of the soap nut liquid. I've been using Zoom products, but now I'm in the market for something different because I've researched this episode. And the thing is that Zoom products just have a lot of essential oils in them. And a note on essential oils, because we've talked a lot about using essential oils for fragrance, that essential oils have terpenes in them that can be endocrine disrupting as well. And, essential oils are super concentrated plants. It's super, super concentrated. If you put a neat essential oil, and that means undiluted essential oil on your skin, it immediately absorbs through your skin, goes into your bloodstream. So because in the world of alternative fragrance, can I say that? Essential oils are so often the go-to that it's not uncommon for people who are looking for alternatives to overexpose themselves to essential oils. And you can start to have some of the same issues from overexposure to essential oils. So, putting a couple of drops here and there in your laundry detergent, not a problem. Putting a couple of drops here and there in your bath salts. But if you have a diffuser going in your house with essential oils 24/7, and you're putting it in your laundry, and you're putting it in your dish soap, and you're putting it in your body lotion, your body oil, and you're putting it in your bath salt, that's, what is it? The dose makes the poison, right? You can have too much of a good thing. So I just wanted to give that caveat there that essential oils are a great alternative, but let's not bathe in them.
Yeah, I love my essential oils.
I do too. I love mine too. And I also love, some are, I think that like frankincense, for example, is a really safe one. And I think the next thing on our list was fabric softeners, because people love their fabric softener and their dryer sheets. This is what dryer sheets are. I use wool dryer balls, and I love that you can buy wool dryer balls anywhere now. Do you use them?
I just don't use anything.
You just don't use anything. I like my wool dryer balls for like my husband's overalls because it kind of beats them up a little bit in the dryer and they come out with less wrinkles on them. You might need to know that in the future.
Yep.
And I have a little spray bottle that I put frankincense oil in, and I just like spritz a little bit of frankincense oil on the dryer balls. So it gives a little bit of scent. I've really dug into that EWG app, and I think they rate cleaners on a scale of 1 to 10. And then they have their own certified products. So their certified products are like, the creme de la creme. But a 1, a 2, a 3 is not bad. Those are okay. You want to avoid things, the 7, 8, 9, stay away. Avoid the things in the middle. Okay. So just a good rule of thumb is like go unscented for products that stay on your skin all day. We don't use lotion. We have Yanga. We use essential oils, sometimes in our Yanga oils. I rotate through the oils. If you use essential oils, rotate them. Don't use the same essential oils all the time. Use citrus oil or frankincense oil for your diffusers. They are safer. And yeah, this is all about awareness, not perfection. Paying attention to what we're putting in our body. Why are we doing it? How do we feel? I want to invite you to try one of these swaps and let us know how you feel. Oh, yeah. Oh, what do you call that stuff? Cream of tartar. You ever clean with cream of tartar? For like a dirty stovetop or a pot that the bottom of the pot is like turned all black, you put the cream of tartar on there and let it sit and you can scrub everything right off. Just need a little elbow grease and that's totally organic, all natural. I'm going to put ingredient ditch list in the show notes. So if you want a list of ingredients to avoid and why you want to avoid them, just scroll down and you can grab that right there. We always love your feedback. We love to know what you guys think. I think that there is definitely room to do like a beauty product, body product episode here because I know that we both have a bunch of our own little hacks. And if anybody wants to hear about anything, if y'all have questions, concerns, topics that you want to talk about, please let us know. We love to hear from y'all. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Herbalism Uncensored. We're genuinely humbled by the love and support you've shown us. If you've been enjoying the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review if you feel called, and don't hesitate to reach out. Whether it's with a question, a success story, or a topic you'd love us to explore in a future episode. And remember, both Alicia and Lila, that's me, run virtual clinics. We'd love for you to check out what we're up to. You can find Alicia's practice Holistically Correct at holisticallycorrect.com, and you can learn more about my work at the Virtual Natural Healing Clinic by visiting tvnhc.com.
Until next time, be well, stay grounded, and keep healing.